blocker, and it also helps reduce the cravings for alcoholism. We currently allow any incarcerated female that is pregnant and using an opioid, we keep them on the methadone program, and then prior prison board approval allowed for us for an average length of stay somewhere between 30 to 45 days. We had allowed individuals that are incarcerated to stay on the methadone to help with their transition for the reentry program. What we're encountering with our coworkers and our other prisons and our associates and the wardens and their treatment programs is they're looking to expand their medical assisted treatment programs based off of potential legislation that is going to be coming through, and also with the forethought that we are now more focused on a medical model of treatment within prisons based off of what we're learning and know about an addicted individual. So when I ask for permission, what that means is we would have to identify a policy, and it would expand certain agreed upon medical assistant treatment options that we would allow in the facility. It provides us a little bit of a security concern because most of our security life, we have been taught you're trying to keep drugs outside the prison, not bring an addition of drug into the prison. So we'd have to really, when we create this policy, look at staffing. It may require an additional correctional officer for a day shift or whatever period of time that Primecare would deem appropriate to provide that medication to that population of addicted individuals that would need that medication. It also will come at a cost. The cost, we are still networking with the state and other county wardens about all ways to offset the cost, meaning the county should be expecting that opioid settlement. I have been in contact with Lebanon County Drug and Alcohol and Jimmy Dunmore about the potential for me to provide a proposal. So whatever costs that are associated with that, to maybe use that settlement money to offset the cost of the addition of the medication, and the medication requires an addiction counselor. I know some facilities that do it, they do everything through their Primecare contract. So Primecare would handle the expense of the medication and the addiction counselor, and potentially we could be looking at invoicing either the opioid grant or, the opioid settlement money, or what we're understanding from the state is a lot of like PCD, they're looking at trying to expand some grant options for county facilities, understanding that it's going to come at a financial cost.
Questions that I have surround the cost and everything. Is this once it's set up, it's kind of done, but it seems like the grant or the opioid settlement isn't ongoing, it's a one-time thing, right?
Oh my gosh, no.
Is it ongoing?
20 years.
20 years.
It is 20 years.
Well, it's I know it's over a decade. Is it 20? It's 20, yeah.
Our current Vivitrol program started in 2019, and that was graciously funded by Lebanon County Drug and Alcohol. They funded that because they realized the need for both the community and the incarcerated individual, and then we were able to make it more sustainable due to the option of getting the PCCD grant. That's coming up. The end date of that is September 2022. I have paperwork coming over for the commissioners meeting that I need some signatures to allow me to amend the grant because I have a different vendor than what we once started. When the grant ends, if we're not a recipient of the grant to continue, then we would fall back and ask Lebanon County Drug and Alcohol to continue funding the Vivitrol program that currently exists. With the MAP programs, it's one of those things, in my understanding, and I believe you were recently at the CCAP conference, it's one of those things that Lebanon County either has a choice to get ahead of or be a casualty of not getting ahead of it and not doing it. So in my professional opinion, and I mean Mr. Weber can speak to maybe some of the specific details that the cost, which we've been trying to educate the board with the last few months, is it's almost a necessity because of the medical model. And if we're going with a medical model approach, if we have a diabetic that comes to the facility, we do not stop them from their diabetic medication regardless of how much it costs. We might have to continue to look for alternative incarceration methods Maybe they go on house arrest, maybe they go to the day reporting center, maybe they go somewhere else so that the prison itself doesn't have to absorb that cost. But again, the cost is more of you're either paying the cost for the medication and to help addicted individuals re-enter the community in a safe manner, or we eat the cost because we have to worry about a potential liability with somebody withdrawing or something of that nature.
Okay, then I have 2 more questions.
Yes.
Excuse me, Joe, before you get, can I clarify something? I mean, you stated at the beginning, I'm trying to get my hands around what you're actually looking for as far as approval, you said, because Joe's gonna ask cost questions, and I know that's important, and I'd like to set cost questions aside, and I think what you're asking though more is approval to proceed, because you don't have a specific proposal for us today?
My proposal is
Grant?
simply to expand the medical assistant treatment program, meaning to expand what we currently have, which is the Vivitrol and the ways that we do with the methadone with the pregnant female. I don't have a specific plan, but I can't proceed with
Right.
getting to all the nuts and the bolts of the
Right.
cost and how we can be creative to fund it until I have the prison board's approval to
Right.
proceed.
And the costs are gonna be critical, obviously, to all of us, but for now, let's focus on why this is a good thing for Lebanon County.
Yes, it's a good thing because again, with COVID, we had to limit a lot of our initiatives to try and help the addicted population that are coming to the correctional facility. We had to get creative in many ways to help that population, which is an increased population. Again, our population of mental health inmates is also increased, and what the numbers will show that a lot of times the addiction and the mental health sometimes go hand in hand. So by the prison board allowing us to pursue this venture, it is allowing us to add another component to the reentry overall picture. For example, if you get sentenced to drug court currently, and I was hoping the DA was here, but my research has indicated if I get sentenced to the drug court and I have a prescribed prescription, and that's what I would be looking for, if I have a prescribed prescription to be on a medical assistant treatment option, the courts allow that individual to keep that prescription sustainable and be on that medication even though they're in drug court, because they're looking at it as more of a medical model, not a different kind of substance like cocaine or something that is an illegal substance, not a medical necessarily needed medication. Also, probation and parole in Lebanon County, they currently supervise and allow people that get sentenced to probation and parole, they currently allow their clientele to stay on the prescription even though they have a rule that says no drug or alcohol use. They allow it with the exception that it is a validated prescribed prescription. So in my research just showed like probably approximately 40 people out of the 1,400 people that are on Lebanon County probation and parole currently are being supervised while they have a valid prescribed prescription of a MAT. So by the Lebanon County Correctional Facility going that route, we then are also trying to fill in that component of reentry with the initiative to try and help those that are coming to jail with an addiction help sustain their sobriety in that manner.
Okay, I would like to proceed with my questions, if I may. Thank you. What makes this better than drug and alcohol? This is their department to fund. Why wouldn't drug and alcohol administer this? Why would it go through the prison at all?
When an addicted individual comes to the jail is responsible for that person's well-being.
But
while
doesn't
they're
drug and
incarcerated.
alcohol then fund it?
We're looking to, she would apply for the funding for the opioid grant money, but let her finish her answer. Go ahead.
So what other prisons are being told, what we're looking at is, and again, the funding, we're working on solutions for that, but other prisons sustain and maintain a medical treatment program within their correctional facility. The funding is either, it's built into different components. Some go through their Primecare medical or their medical vendor contract. Some are able to offset the cost with Lebanon County Drug and Alcohol. It just kind of depends how we're able to guide and nurture the program.
So it could go either way. It seems like we're circumventing the duty of drug and alcohol. That's what I'm trying to get at. We should be going through them.
Well, like Commissioner Kuhn had mentioned earlier, the cart is coming before the horse. Before we can even explore those options, I need to have an understanding from the prison board if I have the approval to expand the medical assisted treatment program within the facility. You're looking at the cost, and as a taxpayer myself, I understand the question and the reasoning for the cost. We're looking for,
There's a difference between cost and protocol.
yes,
But it's still part of your plan that you just want permission to go ahead and set up a plan that we can then approve at some point, and then we can pick it apart and see if there are issues within the plan.
If I could,
Well, let me ask Jamie has an observation.
If I could, listening to the line of questioning, and maybe I could just take a crack at boiling down what this program is as I understand it, or what the proposal is as I understand it, to Commissioner Litz, maybe just get to your questioning. Not every incarcerated individual receiving drug or alcohol treatment at the jail is funded by Jim Dunmoyer's department. The problem that exists currently is that if I'm, and anybody jump in, Tom or the warden or whoever, if I'm getting this wrong, is that we don't automatically continue everyone's drug and alcohol treatment when they come through intake. Other examples that she gave of probation or what was the other you gave, Warden, I forget,
probation and parole or drug courts.
or drug courts, it's seamless. It doesn't stop.
Okay.
Just like medicine for diabetes doesn't stop. Medicine for whatever the person is prescribed when they come to jail doesn't stop, except drug and alcohol treatment sometimes does, which is of course detrimental to their, continued treatment. So this is, the ask here is to come up with a plan to work with Primecare to continue their treatment, so there's a seamless, there's never a gap in it. But that's a practical problem. It's an operational problem, and it's a fiscal problem. The fiscal problem potentially could be solved by the opioid settlement, which would be hand in hand with Jim Dunmoyer, because his department's going to be the pass-through for those funds. The other operational, practical problems have to be solved. So this isn't taking away, and right now the warden's just saying, I need to figure out how I'm going to do this, but before I do that, I don't want to come back with a plan and you guys just vote it down and everybody wasted months of effort. So I don't know that all those fiscal questions can be answered, but I don't believe anyone's losing their authority or whatever it is.
Jamie, if I could, if so, it's not one or the other. It's that we're going to take advantage of all the
Yeah, I think just to me,
funding that Jim can offer through his department,
Yeah.
but also look for potential other funding sources. Am I correct?
Yes.
yeah, I didn't understand this very clearly myself either. I'll admit, as hard as I try to look like I understand everything in the county, I don't always. But this is how I understand it: is that if we're stopping treatment, we're sending people backwards in their recovery, and so this would be able to continue. Is that fair? Is that a fair?
If I may continue with my line of thought.
Okay.
Okay. I really feel that the issue is not whether or not we have seamless treatment. The issue is protocol. Should Jim be the leader on this, or should a subcontractor, Primecare, be the leader on this? I want to make sure Jim is up front and he is informed and he knows what's going on. If he says, wait a second, this is my jurisdiction, it should go through me to get to Primecare, that's what I want to know, okay? And then the next thing is you're asking for something to expand that should normally go through the budget process. Are you asking for this for the budget process, or are you looking to do this sooner than the budget?
No.
No.
With all due respect, Jimmy Dunmoyer and I are in constant conversations in CJAB. every organizational meeting where we involve Lebanon County Drug and Alcohol, this is on forefront of topic of a conversation. I don't need Jimmy Dunmore's permission nor input from Jimmy Dunmore to do this in the facility. It is a security operational situation where we would be allowing in a substance that, Tom Weber, I don't know how would I clarify? It's an FDA approved drug that we would be allowing to come into the institution. So right now I'm asking not about the dollars and cents of it, but if the board would allow approval to continue to bring in the MAP program into the facility. At the time, I would have a policy and protocol set up with the blessing that I'm able to proceed with that. Then I would come back for budget time and at the appropriate areas to present, this is what it looks like, this is what it costs. If you're telling me that it's not going to get approved from a fiscal aspect, I have to understand and respect that. But I'm going on record as the administrator of the correctional facility saying, I believe that there is a need for this initiative to help with the reentry program for the addicted population. Tom Weber, can you fix me?
So
I don't think you're broken.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So the short answer is, you are asking for this to go through the budget process.
Not at this time because I do not have the proper information that you're asking to provide for you.
Is that your goal, to get it to go through the budget process, or to circumvent the budget
serious.
process?
Yes.
Okay.
But
I'm
potentially
just-
with revenue. I mean, not
Yeah.
as an unfunded.
I understand
Okay.
that. But I'm talking about setting precedent and giving messages to other departments that we tell have to go through the budget process. And that is my question, just very succinctly.
Can you or Tom maybe comment, are you familiar with what they're doing in York County?
York?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have York County.
I don't know enough to even comment, but I got information as I'm weaning myself away from, as a WellSpan employee.
Yeah.
There's WellSpan involved, I think, with a grant in New York.
Yeah, WellSpan
Came up
actually-
with something innovative down there,
we're
seems to be
working-
working well. I haven't had a
Yeah,
chance
we're
to look
working-
at it.
we're
I've heard
working-
about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're working well with WellSpan to do a rather robust MAT program in York County. And to address the commissioner's concerns about other departments, as we flush this out, because there are a lot of moving parts to this. There's the reentry part, who is gonna do the soft handoff, outside. One of the reasons drug and alcohol typically does not control it is that they don't have prescribers. They're not coming into the facility. They don't have individuals to administer the medications. So your provider in-house, whether it be Primecare or someone else, has to be involved somehow because they're the ones who are going to do the assessment. They're going to prescribe the medications and they're going to administer the medications. There's a lot of moving parts. What we just need to know is, as the warden put it, are you going to get ahead of the pack or run over by this train that's coming down the rails? We have a program in Dauphin County, and right now we continue individuals in Dauphin County who may have a Lebanon County detainer and they get transferred here after the release from Dauphin County, and currently we are detoxing them off their prescribed medications because Lebanon County doesn't have a continuation program. It would be, in our opinion, more humane to have that medication continue.
Okay.
We recognize that there needs to be policies, protocol, sufficient manpower in place, coordination with who's going to do the required counseling, how large this program is likely to get once you start it, and then the different phases of MAT programs from continuation to induction.
But either way, you are working with the individuals currently, and you're weaning them off. So instead of weaning them off, it would just be continued until outside. And then do you continue with them once they're on the outside, or then does somebody else pick them up?
Yeah, we provide no direct outside care in any of our facilities. What we'll do is provide either a prescription or sufficient medication to bridge them until they can get to their outside provider. Ideally, it's the day of release if we know that far enough in advance, if not the next day.
Okay, so weaning them off just means they're still getting the medication, but at a reduced amount. What would be
Until it stops. I mean, it's weaning off, it's not just reducing.
Yeah, and then what you really are adding, the big portion is the counseling. Do they get counseled now?
Can we just get back to your request? I mean,
Well, it's all part of the request.
No, the request is simply to allow her, the warden, to go forward with this study and come back to us with what she comes up with, and what through Tom and Jim Dunware and others. That's all she's asking for permission to go forward with, and she's recommending that we do it. That's all she's asking today.
No funding.
I'm not asking for any financial commitment at this point, just permission to proceed with putting in the work and to get all the answers. If the board has a strong opinion that medical assisted treatment does not belong in a correctional facility, then there's no point in me investing my
wasn't
time
said.
and energy.
No, she's
That wasn't
just
said.
That's
stating
why
that-
I'm asking for a vote to allow me to proceed.
We're already providing the medical treatment. No one ever said we shouldn't be providing medical treatment. I want to make sure that that is understood. I
But-
just am trying to figure out what you're asking for, the timing of it, and whether or not we're following the right protocol.
Is there a motion to?
Yeah, if I could, I like the idea of us exploring additional options for medical assisted treatment at the prison, and would make a motion that we authorize you to continue to explore those opportunities, as well as funding opportunities, and also work cooperatively with Jim Dunwire and his people to make sure that we're working in a cohesive manner.
I'll second that motion. That's exactly what I'm asking
Any
for.
further questions or discussion? Any other comments? Thank you for your presentation. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. Okay.
Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge Tom Keller from Mount Calvary Chapel. He had a meeting with myself and my kitchen sergeant. They provide a great deal of donations, whether it be food or whether it be paper product, to the facility, which helps keep the county prison culinary budget in line below. A lot of times people make comments of how well we do with that line item in comparison to the other prisons. And again, it's by the graciousness of the community, such as the Tom Colors, that are able to provide that. They also were able to provide us with, if something would be needed for sustainability, for food products, they have some space that they're willing to share us for refrigeration, freezer space. So I'd just like to share that with the board, and again, my appreciation for people like that in the community that are really helping the Lebanon County Correctional Facility.
Any other departments want to take a flyer on anything? Anything beyond their reports that, Tom, did you want to add anything to what's been said, or?
No, we continue our strong working relationship. We're working still through COVID. The prevalence has decreased of late in the facility, so that's a good thing. In those cases that have come up of late, there's been very mild symptoms, so we continue to offer the vaccines. And I think shortly after my last appearance here, you should have received an email with me that went into the MAT a little bit further and had our policies included, as well as our assessment tools. So if there's any questions about how we address that, which I'm sure they're going to be as we go down this process, I'll be happy to continue to answer those either here in this forum or directly.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, and before we get to the best, saving the best for last part of the program, I do have two questions for Warden. You mentioned a number of the 1,400 that were under supervision with parole or probation.
Yeah.
What was that number?
40.
Oh, 40. Okay, I was hearing something higher in my head.
Approximately 40 of the current
Okay,
clientele.
or part of that seamless, yeah, okay.
Yes.
And I just, more curiosity than anything, contraband issues. Do you see any, or do you hear from your colleagues any reduction in that? If there's a good, strong MAT program that you're talking about having here, where you're introducing and keep, so that you're sustaining the
continuity
Yeah.
of care. So we talked about this actually this morning a little bit. Again, all the prisons that aren't already in a successful active MAT program, they're right where I am. At their prison boards, they're going to approach. So to answer Commissioner Litz's program, this is part of what we're being guided, the direction we're trying to go, the steps we're being told, this is where you start, then they're helping us walk ourselves through each other, so we're kind of all on the same pace with what the requests are and how we do it. So one
and where
board,
does the request come from? Where does this guidance come from?
the Department of Corrections,
Okay.
DDAP, and there was another. We do monthly Zoom meetings to basically, because of the legislation that's going to be coming out, just to kind of keep us educated and informed. So on the latest one, it was the Department of Corrections, it was DDAP, and it was the Lebanon County Commission on Drug and Alcohol from the state level, which Jimmy Dunmore is part of those meetings. He just couldn't attend the last Zoom because he was on vacation.
Yes, so this is only going to take a lawsuit or something, or legislative action to
Yeah.
impose it on us, or we can do it, try to get ahead of it and, have.
There's a lot of, and I think the administrator can attest, there's a lot of right to knows coming out based off of this. What you are doing and what you are not doing, and it comes down to, and I respect dollars and cents, it's going to be an operational increase from us. There's a lot of moving parts, like Tom Weber said, to get to the end goal, but the end goal is, what the data is showing is that a lot of people that are addicts that re-enter into the community, if they don't have some kind of sustainable method to stay sober, whether that's being on a Vivitrol program or being on a MAT, that increases the overdose percentage, because what happens is we can do the best we can to keep them safe when they come into jail. So for example, when somebody comes into jail, they're going through drug and alcohol withdrawal, sometimes a mental health crisis. They're not behaving properly because their brain component can't match what their withdrawal for the body is doing. So what that does inside in a correctional facility is it increases the potential for violence with inmate on inmate. It increases the potential of violence for one of our staff members to get hurt because they're trying to do the right thing and de-escalate and help get this person medically compliant with Primecare's policies and just their medical treatment. So the studies have shown that somebody being sustained on their prescribed MAT helps reduce those sense of violence. But the other thing is they stay on a steady level, so then when they go out to the community, if you take an addict, and I'm not an addict, but my research and my communication with people that were former addicts or currently in addiction, it's you go out after not using heroin and you go out and you shoot up, your body no longer has that tolerance for that drug. So that's why I believe if you talk to like the smart people, not me, the smart people, that's why you see the increase in people that are released from prison going out that are an addict and they go use, which typically is the drug of choice, the opioid, and then they end up dying because their body can't sustain what they once knew before they came into jail.
Yeah, I mean, statistics show you're at approximately a 300% higher chance of overdose within the first 2 weeks of release from incarceration. And it's exactly for the same reason that the warden had indicated, that you go back to your former dose, whether that was 10 or 12 bundles, whatever it happened to be, and you no longer have the tolerance. And nowadays, these things are being mixed with so many other substances that it is a horrific cocktail that they're ingesting.
And to go to your specific point, I'm sorry I went on a tangent, I apologize for that. The contraband, you do see a reduction, but it's not a quick goal. So the reduction comes from the people that, in their mind, the medical model, they should be sustained on it, versus the people that are always going to be trying to get some kind of contraband in just because they want to get high or they want to buck the system.
Gotcha.
Or whatever.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other business? We have a proclamation to present. If there is no other business, I'd be happy to do that right now. Proclamation, Claude, do you want to come up, maybe pull a seat up, or?
You can sit right here, sir.
Yeah, there you go.
You're welcome.
This is from the Office of Lebanon County Commissioners, of course. It's a proclamation. Whereas Claude Mease began his career with the Lebanon County Correctional Facility, employed as a correctional officer on June 13th, 1999, promoted to corporal on April 22nd, 2018, and on April 4th, 2021, promoted to captain. And whereas during his tenure, Claude served the county with devotion and commitment, and he was a key member of prison administration. He's been a valuable and dedicated employee, and whereas Claude served professionally on the Correctional Emergency Response Team, CERT, and the Correctional Rifle Security Team, CRST, and whereas on August 27th, 2022, Claude will retire from Lebanon County Correctional Facility with over 23 years of distinguished service. And now therefore, we, the Commissioners of Lebanon County, on behalf of past boards of county commissioners and past and present employees and all our citizens, unite to thank Claude for outstanding service he provided during his many years at the Lebanon County Correctional Facility. Further, we extend congratulations and best wishes for a most rewarding future and your very best retirement. So we wish that all for you, and it's been adopted, or at least signed by all three commissioners. Now we would
I'll make a motion to approve Captain Mease for proclamation.
now we would look for a motion to adopt the proclamation. Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved. There we go. Now, if you want, Warden, if you'd like to say something, or if anyone else, and then Claude, you can.
Deputy Warden Ott will present Captain Mease with his plaque. I just want to say thank you for your service, and especially helping me in the beginning of my transition into being a warden. You were an asset most times in my process of getting things done, and I appreciate you taking the lead and being a leader and getting the staff to buy into where we were headed and where we continue to be headed. You'll be missed, so thank you.
You're welcome. So, Claude, from the Department of Corrections, Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, presented to Claude A. Mease, Captain of Security, in recognition for your years of dedicated service to the community and inmate programs from 1999 to 2022. From the county commissioners and the administration and staff at Lebanon County Correctional Facility, with sincere appreciation for a job well done.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I just, kind of, with Claude, we've been through a lot together. Good, bad, ugly. But there, all of the people that have retired have been supervisors to me. Now it's the other way around right now. So, but there's nobody I wouldn't trust more. When a guy shoots over your head at 200 yards from about 3 or 4 inches, you got to put trust in him. And there's nobody I'd want to go through a door with more. And
Wow.
it's going to be missed. So I would have objected to the proclamation, but I figured I should.
Appreciate that.
So, yeah.
Anyone else have anything?
I just want to say thank you so much for your longevity, for your faithfulness, for your loyalty, for your expertise. You've made the jail a good place and a place that is safe for all. Thank you so much for
You're
your
quite welcome.
service.
It's been an honor.
I'm gonna shake your hand.
Me too.
I'm sweaty right now.
It's all right.
Oh my God. I'm sweating like
Claude, I didn't want to shortchange. Jamie just reminded me I never did give you your chance to speak. So would you?
No, I'm good.
I saw him out in the hall and he said, let's keep this moving. But thank you. And here's the proclamation on behalf of very grateful Lebanon County.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Why don't you get a picture of you presenting? Maybe later. I'll get it. And I can send it to you.
You're a boss.
He's the boss.
No,
They're the boss.
You're my boss.
Oh, wait. Is
Mike
that,
should be in the
is that
picture.
Reggie and Becky?
Mike should be in
Yeah.
the picture
Oh,
too.
Becky, get
Mike,
it.
we'll take the picture.
Mike. What?
I'm an outsider, I'll take the picture.
There you go.
Shouldn't you hold this?
It's,
It's yours.
I can.
Thank
We
you.
can.
We can all
How's
do
that?
it together.
There's some to choose from.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Send it to you. You can
Appreciate
You bet.
I hope you have a good, long, healthy, and happy retirement.
Golf is fun.
Good. As long as you beat cards.
That should be hard. Yeah, that's, you see that.
I want to go meet him.
I did have one more.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have one more thing from Commissioner Litz.
I'd just like to acknowledge and thank Tina and all of the staff in the office who helped to create the poster for CCAP. It was well received, and it was on display during the lunchtime for the commissioners, and they rotated around and looked at the different other county proposals as well. So I think that it made Lebanon County a star that day, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Not, look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
We stand adjourned. Thank you all very much. Again, Claude,
Thank you.
happy retirement.